Mellisa Godoy is a military mother and wife now on a mission.
The whole world needs to know how they're treating these military families.
She moved to Joint Base Lewis-McChord in July of 2018 and says within a few months she started noticing water leaks in her home on base.
This is all wet. And I wiped it off. I thought maybe it was like an ice cube or something. And I wiped it away, and then an hour later it came back. I said, okay, there's a leak.
So she says she put in these maintenance requests for her home to be fixed. Maintenance crews came out, spent hours doing work, and then she says they told her the problem was solved.
I said, okay, well, I have questions. How long was the water there? Where did it come from? Is there mold? Are you sure? Did you get it all? Like, are you sure we're okay? Because that kind of smelled really bad. And they were very vague, said, no, your house is fine, left.
In the meantime, she says her and her 2 children were repeatedly having to make doctor's visits after constantly getting sick.
Constant illness. I've had bronchitis twice, a mysterious upper respiratory infection that left me with a cough.
Lincoln Military Housing is the property management company who contracts with JBLM to run their military housing. Mellisa says she contacted LMH's staff several times to come check for mold in her home.
I was like, do you guys smell that? And I'm telling the maintenance, and they're like, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. No, you're fine.
Fed up and frustrated, that's when Mellisa took matters into her own hands.
I pried off the trim, and I was really careful because I was like, my husband's going to have to put this back on. Pulled it out, picked it up, and there's black mold. And, oh my God, still get mad about that.
So she called maintenance crews back out and recorded this video from the visit.
What part of that is okay to paint over? You see those little black speckles? That's black mold.
Lincoln Military Housing says they have now retained a third-party mold remediator to conduct an inspection on Mellissa's home and released this statement that reads in part, "We regret when anyone is unsatisfied and are working to remedy this situation. But it is critical to understand that nearly all these residents decided to move to temporary housing on their own and were not moved because of any known health and safety issues at their properties. We are covering the cost of their temporary accommodations until our staff and independent mold inspectors can determine if mold remediation is needed, and if so, until that remediation is complete." The video Mellisa posted got an immediate response from other military families dealing with similar issues.
They're like, can you help me look for mold? I'm like, sure, why not? You know? So I went to a couple homes and started looking and was finding black mold everywhere. They're like, we're sick too. Our kids are chronically sick.
The group, created just weeks ago, now has 800 members with hundreds of complaints showing pictures and videos of military families dealing with similar issues in their homes at JBLM. We also reached out to officials at JBLM. They responded with the statement that reads in part, "We identified and addressed some problems, and in some cases families were moved into temporary accommodations if repairs required more time. Placing families in temporary housing is a standard practice, and it's the right thing to do to support our military families." They go on to say LMH pays for temporary lodging and meal expenses, $30 per person per day when families are displaced. The $30 per person per day is paid within several days of the family being moved into temporary accommodations. But Mellisa and her family, who have been staying in a hotel on base since August 1st, says this situation has still placed many single-income military families like hers in a tight spot.
This is financially burdensome. This is really, it's hard right now. This is the direct blow to the service member, the actual people that put their life on the line and have volunteered for this country.
And these military families are now pooling together resources through that Facebook group, but they say more help is needed. For more information on this story and to read those full statements from JBLM and Lincoln Military Housing, just click on this story on our website at Q13fox.com. Back to you guys at the desk.
JBLM isn't